Hey, it's Andrew here. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about Social Security changes, the next two stimulus packages, and daily news updates as well. President Biden is set to announce a $6 trillion budget, which is confirmed to include more stimulus payments. So let's discuss the details in this video, but before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I also have a second channel, so if you could do me a huge favor, click on the link that's in the description of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my second channel. I'm going to be giving away a stimulus check on that channel just as a thank you for supporting my work. Now, with Biden set to announce a $6 trillion budget for fiscal year 2022, let's discuss what's confirmed to be included and what we expect to be included as well regarding stimulus, that monthly child tax credit, that monthly stimulus for Social Security, increasing Social Security benefits in general, potentially the expansion of Medicare to include those who are 60 years and older, as well as covering dental, hearing, and vision care as well. So a lot to talk about in this package. Biden is supposed to release the final details this Friday, but we have a lot of speculation as to what we expect to be included. Now, before we get into those details, let's see what critics have to say, because a lot of people are criticizing Biden's plan to spend, saying that it's going to cause inflation, and it actually won't help the economy either. Now, personally, I strongly disagree, and I'm a strong proponent of approving more stimulus, but I always like to show both sides of the spectrum just to help you guys come to your own conclusion. Now, of course, the rich don't want more stimulus, right? They want less taxes, less stimulus, basically anything that's going to benefit them. And this interview by Yahoo Finance is interviewing an economist from Stanford. Yes, Stanford. Of course, they don't want more stimulus. But let's take a look, see what they had to say and their reasons for not wanting more stimulus. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Then we're going to go ahead and discuss what we expect to be in Biden's next stimulus plan, including what has already been confirmed, what is being speculated, and what we don't think will make it into this package.
It's a first look of the details because the size of the spending is anything but skinny. Roughly 1.52 trillion has been proposed in federal spending as the Biden administration plans to focus on education and poverty reduction. So let's chat about it now. We're joined by Tyler Goodspeed, Klein-Heinz, fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University and formerly chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Trump. Tyler, we were chatting about this in the last hour with Austin Goolsbee. So I want to start with the same question that I asked him. 1.5 trillion in federal spending as a part of this budget proposal that we have so far, on top of about $2 trillion in infrastructure spending. That's quite a bit of money that is being proposed here that the federal government plans on shelling out. Is it prudent for us to be spending that much money? What are some of your first thoughts and reactions to this budget proposal?
Well, it's good to be with you, and let me be frank. In my academic life, I'm an economic historian, and I think we are looking right now at the most reckless fiscal policy in at least the last half century. So with this so-called skinny proposal, we're seeing a proposed increase in non-defense discretionary spending of 16%. That would bring non-defense discretionary spending to its highest level as a share of the economy since 1975, so matching its highest share of the economy actually in the post-war period. And as you said, this follows not only a $2.3 trillion infrastructure bill, but also a $2 trillion additional COVID relief bill, not all of which was COVID related. And we just learned this past week that Democratic leadership in Congress has been cleared to pass another reconciliation bill this year. So I think that we are in unprecedented territory when it comes to fiscal policy.
Tyler, what should the priorities then be coming out of the pandemic as you see it? If you were, part of writing this budget proposal, where would you be focusing some of the government spending efforts?
So first and foremost, I would be focused on jobs. There's not going to be a recovery in the U.S. economy until there's a recovery in the U.S. labor market. So making sure that the incentives are in place for employers to continue hiring and to make sure that we are not imposing unduly high implicit marginal tax rates on the return to work. And the second priority would be to provide some long-run certainty for both workers and firms by making sure that certain provisions of the 2017 tax law that are currently scheduled to sunset, to make sure that those are permanent, so that we're providing businesses and workers with the certainty they need to invest in new plant and equipment and new human capital training.
So there you have it, folks. The rich want to cut off stimulus. They do not want to increase taxes on the rich. And they say, hey, let's focus on creating more jobs. But quite frankly, how is more jobs going to benefit people who are on Social Security? Am I right? I mean, we need to increase stimulus. And basically what Biden wants to do is end poverty, end childhood poverty, and senior poverty, and just kind of tackle poverty across the board. And this conservative, but Republican notion of trickle-down economics has been proven not to work. And what people like this economist want to do is lower taxes on the rich to say, hey, by lowering taxes, we're going to create more jobs, which will then provide more quality jobs for the average American person, as well as stimulate the economy. But this has been proven not to work. Over the last 4 decades, the rich continue to get richer, while the poor continue to get poorer. And Biden's administration is aiming at lowering taxes on the lower and middle class, increasing stimulus, and taxing the rich as well. And quite frankly, I am in strong support of that plan. Now, with Biden set to release his $6 trillion proposal this week, this Friday, we do have some confirmation as to what is going to be in the package, and then everything else is kind of left to speculation. So first of all, we do have confirmation that that $300 per month boost for families with kids is going to be in Biden's proposal. So that has been confirmed, and that does add up to $3,600 per year per child for everyone who has kids. Now, guys, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Personally, I love that stimulus, and I think it's a huge step in the right direction to try and end childhood poverty. It also sets a really good precedent, because if we're approving monthly payments for children, there is no reason why we shouldn't approve monthly payments for seniors as well, right? We're heading in the direction where monthly stimulus payments is going to become the norm, and they are going to begin this July, run through the end of 2021, and Biden's new proposal will propose that they extend it till 2025. So guys, let me know your thoughts on that. I think it's a great step in the right direction. It's been confirmed. It's going to be in Biden's proposal, but I want to point out this is just a proposal. This creates the framework upon which Biden wants Congress to work on. They will make adjustments, they will remove some things, they will add some things, and eventually they will pass this in the House, then pass it in the Senate, and most likely be forced to fully approve it through budget reconciliation, which would not require a single Republican vote. Now, that is what we know is going to be in the proposal and what has been confirmed. But what do we think will be included, and what do we think will not make it? Well, guys, if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in Social Security benefits and Medicare. Now, the good news is experts do believe that Biden will include a Medicare expansion, lowering the age to 60 years old, as well as covering hearing, vision, and dental care as well. This would be a huge help for millions of people on Social Security. A lot of people who watch my channel are 62 years old, collect Social Security, but still do not qualify for Medicare benefits, putting them in a really difficult place. This would help end that for millions of Americans. So personally, I love this idea, and I hope it comes to fruition. Now, as far as Social Security benefits, 2 things. First of all, as of now, we do expect Biden to increase spending on Social Security, which would broadly create more funding, as well as provide funding for that 4.5% COLA increase that we expect in 2022. If you watch my channel, you already know that a few weeks ago we got really good news, and we expect a 4.5% COLA increase in 2022. Of course, that's not yet set in stone, but if the year ended right now, the COLA increase would be about 4.5%. So good news, we have a large COLA increase coming. We do expect Biden to push for more funding for Social Security, but we still don't have any word as to whether or not he's going to push for that $200 per month stimulus boost or Social Security benefits reform in general. Again, if you follow my channel, you know that Biden promised on the campaign trail to increase Social Security benefits basically across the board by providing bigger COLA adjustments every single year, more money for widows, more money for those who have been on Social Security for 20 years or more, as well as more money for those who are low income to make sure they make at least 125% of the poverty level. Now, I'm not saying Biden has abandoned this plan, but as of yet, it has not been included in his proposal. I do still expect Biden to get this done either by the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. So guys, please subscribe. I will keep you posted as soon as we have any updates regarding Social Security changes, the next two stimulus packages, and daily news updates as well. Now, before we end this video, I want to give you a quick update on the coronavirus. This is unrelated to stimulus, but it's such trending news that I like to kind of touch base on these things as well. And I want you guys to let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Because for the longest time, anyone who said that this virus was made in a Wuhan lab, they said these people were conspiracy theorists. And I'm going to be honest, it kind of seemed like it, right? Even to the point where Facebook said they would ban any posts that said that COVID-19 was man-made by people in China. Now, Facebook is no longer removing those claims, and they're no longer considering this conspiracy theory. Now, there has not been confirmation that this was man-made in a lab, but the Biden administration is pushing really hard to make sure that the Chinese give any information that they have in regards to this potentially coming out of the Wuhan lab. And this has been sparked by the fact that they have confirmation that at least 3 people who worked in the Wuhan lab were hospitalized, potentially having symptoms of COVID back in November of 2019. I want you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comments. First of all, it seemed a little bit suspicious that they said the coronavirus came from a bat, but at the same time, there just happened to be an infectious disease lab in that same city. Now we have reports confirmed that there's 3 employees that most likely had COVID-19 from that lab back in November of 2019 before this outbreak even started. So guys, because of that, Biden is pushing for a deep investigation, and he's pushing China to release more information, specifically things like blood work from those employees to see if they had antibodies for COVID-19, because that would be almost a smoking gun and potentially point to the fact that this was created in a lab. Now, I just want to give you my opinion. I'm undecided. It's possible that it came from a lab. It's possible that it came from a bat. But I really want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And I'm quickly going to show you guys how both CNN and Fox News are reporting this to kind of show you both sides of the spectrum and how they're portraying this. So guys, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share this content with anyone who you think might find this helpful. So I'm going to leave you with 2 clips, one from CNN and one from Fox News regarding the COVID-19 investigation. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
And this is extraordinary. If I were talking about this yesterday, I was a conspiracy theorist, and now on Facebook, I'm perfectly legit.
That is the message from Facebook, and it shows how murky the world of misinformation and disinformation can be. Sometimes these incredibly complex scientific issues cannot be summarized by a simple single fact check. And yet last year there were attempts to fact check. There were attempts to debunk theories when this was really about a murky, unknown, unproven, unclear area, an unclear subject that Facebook and other platforms were trying to make clear. Here's the statement from Facebook overnight that explains this change in policy. They say, in light of ongoing investigations into the origin of COVID-19 and in consultation with public health experts, we will no longer remove the claim that COVID is man-made from our apps. We are continuing to work with health experts to keep pace with the evolving nature of the pandemic and regularly update our policies as new facts and trends emerge. Look, I think Facebook and other platforms were coming at this with good intentions, trying to weed out actual disinformation, trying to remove actual conspiracy theories from their platforms, especially in those very scary days in the spring of 2020. However, we can see in this situation, in this instance, how difficult it can be to be arbiters of truth, especially when the truth really isn't known and it's not actually fact-checkable, Julia.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it? And you risk breaking trust with people who now look at this and say, hey, we were silenced and we were censored, and hey, we were right all the time, or at least there wasn't such a black and white on this, and there is a grey area. It is a huge challenge, and I agree with you. This shows it. Although I have to say, the skeptics will look at this and say Facebook has dragged its feet in the past, and it was completely on the front foot in light of the news of this investigation, because it means they have to do less work, at least on this point.
Right, that's right, because they won't be removing the content, yeah. They also cite public health experts. They say they're speaking with experts on this. But again, the experts aren't always right either. You know, this is a situation, a pandemic that defies simple black and white rules. And that makes it even more challenging for these big tech platforms that increasingly are the arbiters of truth, whether they want to be or not.
Why isn't President Biden pushing for more access, more information to get to the bottom of exactly what happened?
We are. And we have repeatedly called for the WHO to support an expert-driven evaluation of the pandemic's origins that is free from interference or politicization.
Translation: they still aren't playing hardball with China, the country that may be responsible for what appears to be the deadliest man-made disaster of all time. So when do we take off the kid gloves? So, Jimmy, here's my problem with this whole thing. We attacked the vaccines with urgency. We got the FDA out of the way. It's one of the best things that the federal government has done in decades. That will have hopefully long-lasting impacts. That's why people are now walking around without masks on, is because of the vaccine urgency. I think the origin urgency needs to be just as desperate. We need to have the same desire, the same fire to figure out where exactly this virus, where and how it started, and I'm not quite getting that from this administration. What else do we need?